looking forward to seeing how Entropiq can Into the Breach play, because I think, as I said, if ITB can get at least a decent performance and show a good face on this stream, I think they'll be pretty delighted, because this will be their biggest exposure they'll have, I think ever, to be honest. So we're going to be going into the pistol round, I believe, on map 1. In we go. Nice little transition. And we're into Ancient. Let's get started, Dean. First season of ESL Challenger, at least when it's been dubbed this name. And we're getting started.
Yeah, it's had many names through the years. Obviously, it's up to season 40 now, so you can imagine it's definitely gone through a few rebrands. But as you said, we don't really have too much time to chat because we are right into the action. They're going to be a Viden B, which you don't see all that often on these open pistol rounds. And with the aggressive push in towards main right now, there might not be too much that Forrester can do about this. He might just have to hold back in main and see if he can maybe get a kill or so if they do start moving in. The problem for Into the Breach now, though, is that they've actually taken their time with this and are going to need to go ahead and punish these players in towards middle, and they've done a fantastic job. They've got tons of time to just go ahead and slow this down and try and play off at a 5-on-3. And as you can see, they're just getting the bomb out of there, back to safety so that they can regroup and move over towards that B bomb site.
Yeah, and of course, 5v3, this is a dream start. But they need to manage to translate it. Brad is behind the smoke as they drop that utility toward the site, and they have managed to get at least control of it. And Forrester's still having this duel with the player towards CT doors, so... And the bomb's going to go down, and they're going to have a great chance on this one. I very much doubt that Entropiq will actually be able to retake this. There is no defuse kit available, and Iska's just jumped into Elian. That is already a duel between the two AWPers. We're expecting it to see sniper v sniper, but pistol v pistol will start it off, and he wins it out. And there's not a single frag so far for Entropiq. ITB are absolutely perfect. They're flawless. Can Crad ruin my statement? No, they can't. Oh my goodness. Cypher gets a running Julie's headshot, and how about that for a start for the UK boys?
Okay, one thing I do kind of want to, I guess, mention would be the fact that these guys are probably incredibly motivated. They've probably been hitting this game hard over the last week or so, knowing that this is coming up. So, looking as crisp as they are in that first round, it gives you good hopes. It really does inspire that potentially they could get a good performance here on Ancient. Who knows, maybe even give them something on the second map then as well. We'll have to see, though, up against an Ego right now. The nade did scare me a small bit. And while there is still some pretty good damage done, it shouldn't really be a situation where they lose too much more.
Nope, you're right. And a big nade stack coming in. Entropiq playing it slow. They realise that they're most certainly the high-ranked team and the better team. But will they be the better team today? That is the question. And that nade stack will just be a temporary push on this pistol round, because they've only got 3 USPs left. They're going for a buy in the third instead. That's something I actually quite like to see. Of course, the meta is a state right now where the Silence M4 is incredibly strong. Getting them in the third round might be the way to go, and Isk and Adam still have a Galil and a Mac 10, but they need to win this round first. There are still some USB taps being hit right now. Finally, more damage will be done, and that will force Forrester away on 9 points of health. There's still a couple there, though. We need to be careful. Adam's low. Isk could be one headshot away with the USP as well. Oh, there we go.
No. Yeah, this is not going as cleanly as they'd like. At least it was the low health player that goes down, but they need to push through. They need to start taking some kills and just opening up a little bit of space for them to get that bomb down. And thankfully, the kill from Isk on Elian, I think, is going to do so. They were able to also isolate the frag against Crad just as the smoke begins to fade, and Forrester decides it's probably time to reposition. He's got low health. The only hope he really has here of getting potentially one more kill is to have that surprise factor. Well, he's wrapped his way around to Temple. I don't think there's weapons, unfortunately, and well, it won't even really be. He won't be given an opportunity, rather, to have a look either. Yep. Taken down by Isk, who has a very solid round. He's able to go ahead and take out 2, I believe it was, clean it up in the end. But I mean, I talked about Inspire and Hope off of the first round. The second kind of took that away pretty quickly. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think Entropiq will be delighted with how that round ended up. They didn't even win it, but they got 3 kills from that with basically nothing, just nades and default pistols. So going ahead. That is a good damage, of course, knowing that they're buying in this round. Elian's got the AWP out already, of course, as well. It's a glass cannon, but still, he'll probably have an advantage. We all know that Ancient is usually a little bit more CT-sided, but look at what Adam's doing so early on in this game. There's some confidence and some initiative we need to see from Into the Breach. Give himself a chance in this series. They actually might just take a duel straight up, and look at that. The A bomb site could be open for business with just 1 minute 20 to go.
Lucky, though, is in a decent position here where you might be able to go ahead and put a stop to it. Those players over towards B, just not expecting a flank to be coming in. Isk thankfully got the 1 in return, but he wasn't able to even hang on for the extra few seconds. Even a bit of time being wasted there could have been a massive help. And instead, now you can see Dobbo is in a position where he's pretty much forced to go ahead and take a fight. Maybe could have held off a couple extra seconds, but as you can see, they wanted to peek it together. But Entropiq are just set up pretty much perfectly to go ahead and punish, and that's a little bit of a kicker right there because, as you said, such a great start, that entry in towards A. They get the bomb down, but the 3 players on Lamp just had no idea about that flank coming in, and it was a perfect flash as well in from the player back in towards Cave.
Yeah, I think Adam might have even been a little bit bamboozled himself, to be honest, just pushing into A and seeing nothing, taking the kill, having the sight for so long, calling his teammates over desperately. But yeah, at the end of the day, with the flank coming in toward that cave position, like we said, was pretty perfect. And I think they did lose a few more bodies than they probably needed to. It's a clutch impossible.
Not really expecting a lot in this one, unfortunately, with only, 2 Deagles being upgraded. Maybe a kill or 2 can be found, and in fairness with it, with the economy that's actually there for Entropiq, there really wouldn't be a lot to reinvest if they take even 2 of these rifles out of their hands, so they could still make this a worthwhile round. Entropiq, though, don't really need to press the issue. There's a little bit of aggression, but they're not really going to be going too far forward. They're waiting for the kills to come to them. As I said, this should be a round where Entropiq can hopefully just stabilize that economy now and give themselves a good shot moving into this next gun round to potentially get a good lead going. See in a moment, though, this could be chaos if Nickelback finds the correct timing on a peeker. She coming to him.
There they are. So a nice angle, kind of a big spray down coming here, Nickelback. All the blocks going to be 3 real estate. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. That helps out with another one, but it's a nice shot hit by Dobbo at least to remove one of the AKs. He's got that AK from himself now. But unfortunately, if he swings the angle, he's going to be facing Elian holding a very, very tight line. You know, he has the reactions to hit that shot, no problem at all. Entropiq are going to even it up again at 2 rounds each for sure. Dobbo. It'd be nice to take this up out of the hands, and oh my god, I talk about the tight line. Well, that is a shot and a half. Elian, he's just been absolutely blindsided. Goodness me, that was disgusting from mid-POV. I'm glad we caught it mid-POV, actually. And that's a really impactful kill moving the AWP from the CT side, but whether he does much more is another question, and he'll just run through the smoke and give Crad the chance to recover it.
Yeah, fairly solid round in the end. Could have been a little bit cleaner, but I don't think they'll be kicking themselves too much. Coming on to the gun round now for Into the Breach again is where it really does begin to matter. I believe they recovered that up in the end as well, didn't they? Yeah, they got it back over to Elian. So
yep.
While they don't really build up any economy, they do at least have a couple thousand in the bank, have all of their nades, which they didn't even really have in that previous round. So overall, they've got what they need. Well, actually, some pretty good nade damage already has been done on towards Adam and Cypher. That's not going to be helping out the UK boys early on. We're not really seeing anything too aggressive in terms of looking for map control. It looks fairly standard. Outside of B, they're looking to eventually probably move back up towards Nickelback again. But as you can see, Krad's actually going to push through. The smoke for now does keep his vision out of sight, but it doesn't matter. He manages to just spam through and take one. Nickelback, in the meantime, then catches a distracted Cypher. And, well, one trade from Dobbo, I was going to say, isn't really going to be enough, but Elian sticks around. I thought he was going to fall back and likely just give up the control with the advantage that they had, but instead now a 3-on-3 is given back to Into the Breach. And they can slow this down with still over a minute.
They can, yeah. I mean, I loved that teamwork, I have to say, with that take of the outside B area next to the T-sided doors, of course. And the control of this area is incredibly crucial, and actually they're not going to check it properly. Maybe a bit of miscommunication there. I think Isk probably saw Nickelback before Tadpole pushed forward, and unfortunately got taken down first. But Dobbo's holding a really nice line, and that is just beautiful crosshair placement. Wow. 6 kills for him already in this game, and that's his 3rd of the round. Bomb will go down. They have a 2v1 now to retake the lead. Forrester has a kit and an AUG, but he has to retake in a pretty disadvantageous angle.
AUG as well. Maybe not the ideal weapon for the closer range bomb site, but we'll see. Moving through, it's going to be one man playing off a contact, the other hooked in, just ready to really play time, making it nearly impossible even if he gets the first kill. The problem is it's Dobbo who takes that fight, and as you said, he had just been on point that round. The 2 kills to bring them back into it after it looked like they were down and out in what was, I believe, the 5-on-3. And then 2 more on top of that to go ahead and seal the deal. A fantastic round from Into the Breach, a much needed gun round as well. And as we mentioned now, on top of all the damage before that had been done to Entropiq, they can't really afford a full buy here. We're going to have to see them likely take 1 eco, maybe a few pistols come out, but I'm not expecting a lot more. And, well, they're actually going to go for it. I sleeve on a couple players. Yeah, there's some rifles. There's an AUG and an M4 in there, but other than that, just pistols. Very few nades. And really, what I'm seeing here is a chance for Into the Breach to potentially take this and then take another off the back of it and really get a strong T side going.
Yep, absolutely. We do have a timeout coming in now from ITB. You want to settle down a bit. I think they'll be pretty excited by the start they've got so far. And a little bit of a decision to make now, what they do against this round coming in from Entropiq, which is, we said, a bit of a force buy. 2 Deagles, the AUG, and Masson and M4 as well. And it's a bit of a messy one, but we all know what these guys can do with whatever gun they have, so it's always probably worth a try before they get onto that situation when they will have to eco. Big smoke coming in. Double smoke, the temple position. Smoke is very nice to see. Well, and Saf gets an entry with the AK. Forrester goes down, but in comes Lackey with the Deagle. That 10 spraying wildly toward Donut, looking to try and trade it. 4v4. Elian on the edge of the smoke as well with this AUG. Could be baked in by one of these pistols. Lackey's still proving to be an absolute nuisance right now, and Nickelback's here as well. This is going to be a rough one for ITB in the end, I think. Cobbo with a nice angle does remove one of the guns, but Rad's still there. Does get traded by the Mac 10 of Tadpole. Still 2 players here, and finally they're organising the situation. Oh, Nickelback a little bit whiffy on that spray, and just about, because of that, Isk can swing and trade it. It was tight though, but it's 4-2.
You take one, we'll take one, you take one. It was like an agreement to just go one back and forth for the entire round until eventually Into the Breach managed to come out on top. Obviously though, considering that was just the force buy from Entropiq, they done a decent job doing damage. The problem is that they don't really have anything to capitalize on it. They're going for a bit of a Hail Mary with these nades to hopefully take a couple kills, maybe do some damage and make it a round where again they can hopefully take a couple players away, but that is still going to be tough to do. And if Into the Breach can avoid that, if they can keep even 4 players or so alive, then they're really going to have a good chance to start running away with the momentum here on the T side. So it's a scary position for Entropiq to be in for sure. To be fair though, if there was a map that we were expecting Into the Breach to have a chance on, it was definitely here on Ancient.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, I've got a line here. Oh, he gets checked. Wow, that was a little bit scary. He gets digged because Brad has a little bit of a 360 and spots him. But it doesn't matter. Crosshair is right now in the right place at the right time on many occasions in this game so far. He's hitting some disgusting shots. These guys are warmed up, that's for sure. And they're going to be clearing up this anti-eco pretty quickly as well. Nickelback has 1 grenade remaining, and we're going to see a fancy lineup that we will now learn for the first time. He knows that one. Bang on. Absolutely perfect. That's a retake nade for you. Exiting from that Jaguar position in the cave. And it does a little bit of chip damage, of course, but he will get taken down. And now, 5-2. He said Ancient as well. Probably, honestly, the best start they could wish for.
Yeah, they're going to be feeling really good about this. Obviously did take the pistol, but losing out then in the early gun round and still managing to recover off the back of it is always a pretty good sign. Having a look at what they've got here, they're actually going to retain a Mac 10. Lack of helmet though on that CT side could lead to it being a very effective weapon, and indeed Tadpole already charges into the lamps. Nickelback had been alone in that position a couple of times, and it's a weakness that I guess they had noticed. They go ahead and quickly poke at it, and well, with that now Entropiq are in a tough position as Adam also gets again a walk-on kill into that A bomb site. That should shift them back in this direction now with the bomb on the way over, with a lurker again still being in place over and lamps and punishing Crad. Into the Breach are looking fantastic right now.
Absolutely. 5 versus 2, this round's basically over. They're going to get the bomb planted and Entropiq will have to save. And I mean, I would say that Into the Breach are specialists on Ancient. I think they do love this map, but at the same time, Entropiq, they've had some ridiculous results on this map. They've taken down some of the best teams in the world on this map. So you can't really compare the two, right? Because Into the Breach, while they might be fantastic on it, it's Entropiq who have proven it on the biggest stage. Into the Breach right now are really proving that they are a force to be reckoned with. Of course, they never would have played each other, these two teams. This is the first meeting between the two. So Entropiq might not have much idea how these guys play. That could be a factor, right, which Into the Breach are taking advantage of right now.
1 kill at least coming in here. Yeah, I mean, it's been an... Oh, no, that's unfortunate. A little bit of a team kill is coming through. It's not going to be a big deal in the end. Tadpole just ensures that he doesn't actually get the credit for that kill. That's not going to be put onto his stats right there. But my point was, Now I've kind of blanked on my point. I do apologize, Travis.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It happens to the best of us. I literally, I started my casting today earlier in the morning around 8 a.m. and my brain has reached a stage where I may be feeling a little bit fuzzy, but I'll power through it and I'll do my best. And of course, I believe this is your first cast of the year as well, so we're about to get warmed up.
It's before Christmas,
I'm feeling this one.
When I covered Entropiq's grand final against Sprout, where they also didn't really get going.
Okay, I've got a bit of an Entropiq love in there. You want to cast them every single year, clearly.
I've got this one covered. I can leave them for the next 11 months now, I guess, can I? Just the once, that's all. I thought we were on the one-win Amiga game initially, but I'm not complaining about this one. I think that one maybe could have been, or at least on paper, should have been the more competitive one. But with what we're getting right now, I think this is definitely a lot more exciting. And what a shot by Ellie. And see, this is what we know Entropiq are capable of. They can come alive. They can hit shots like this at any moment. It's about doing it consistently and, well, hopefully getting some weapons going, to back it up as well. This is going to be a bit of an interesting flank. They need to move quickly here on this T side.
That could have a chance here. Oh, he's got two players with backs turned, and Isk is about to use some utility. It could be a free kill. He does actually turn and look for that. He still gets his head removed. Cypher gets one important kill. That's Crad out of the round, but it's a 2 versus 4, I'm afraid. And Forrester's doing so much great work right now. Cypher goes down as well. It's all down to Tadpole. Young gun, the young UK star of this roster. It's a couple of kills, up to 8 now. He has a 1 versus 2 to play out. It would be a 1 versus 4 in total. Black has the AWP, no armor. Elian has a Deagle, no armor. This is very, very doable indeed. Fake on the bomb is going to come in. But I think this may be too many fakes at this stage. Nickelback will show his presence toward the cave. There's a player on his right there, and they've got a fantastic call for this now. There's the information. He realizes it, and he can't get it done as Nickelback pulls out the Deagle. It was very well played in the end by Entropiq, playing as a team in a situation where they could have easily lost that clutch.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. That smoke that was down on the middle of the bomb site made it very difficult for him to actually play out that 1-on-2 because it just allowed the second player to push in and, as we've seen, create that crossfire. But around there, with really not much investment from Entropiq, a good Deagle shot from Ellie and just spirals everything out of control, funnels them right into that B-bomb site as Entropiq were hoping for, and it's given them now a lifeline, a potential here to get themselves back into it, and, well, it includes a double-op setup as well, and finally the opening kill going their way in towards Lamps. That's been eluding them for quite a while.
It has, but you'll be about to see a Entropiq come back here because they are full strength with 2 AWPs now, like that secondary. And you actually brought it up to me beforehand, Dean, about how this is a team that love bringing up that secondary AWP and make it very, very impactful as well. Not just Elian, who is a quality AWPer, and Lucky most certainly is too.
Right on some maps, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I think I do remember that too, toward the end of last year, and some of the matches early this year.
Well-rounded, and, well, we're actually going to get to see the op of Lackey right now as I say that. Picks one off in on Donut. Maybe even have a second chance here, rather, but, well, actually kind of just lucky to survive in the end. Brought down to 2 health. A flash to hopefully just go ahead and keep his life at this point. You don't want to be giving it away. He's called the info that a player is likely crossed over to mid, at least. With that, they do have a player watching the spawn, although Double's managed to creep his way in towards the temple. It didn't seem like he was being too cautious that a player could be waiting for him, though, so he just jumps into the waiting arms of Forrester, rather. His knife out having really no chance to do anything, and, well, with the time that's remaining at this point, with not of a ton of economy, with the ability to potentially drop some weapons over to the players who can't afford, it seems like the save has already been called for.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do, because Tadpole can drop an AK for himself, so that will be the perfect choice. And we're going to get one of his teammates on one of those extra AKs, and with Isk's AWP still in play, the best choice, no doubt about it. I think it surprised me to see Adam bop a Galil, Tadpole drop 1, and they can have 4 guns. So Dobbo maybe on a Tech 9 and ammo. Yeah, sure, to be fair. I'm just thinking utility is quite important.
Drop those nades now, man.
Yeah, very good point. Maybe double by Tech 9 nades.
He went your way. He went for the Galil. I definitely would have preferred if he went AK and had Isk drop him some nades. That definitely would have been the better route. I bet you a lot of people just kind of forget that at this stage. Yeah, see, he's not even going to drop a weapon over, so he very easily could have just bought the AK and Isk could have dropped them smoke and a couple of flashes. Or the smoke and the flashes he has.
I do agree with that, because quite often it's better for, in my opinion, to see the AWPer not have as much utility as the rest of the team. Obviously, you want full utility to go for an execute, but if you are limited, and get that utility onto a teammate and let the AWP go for pick, because obviously if you die, you only drop one grenade, you don't drop your full kit, so it saves that money overall.
Kept one flash for himself then as well, still had something to work a pick with. Either way, though, they have a decent enough investment here, so I don't think it's really going to hinder them too much. Although it does seem like plan-wise, they are a little bit more set in stone about moving out towards B early on in this round. With that, though, not moving incredibly quickly, not even going in to start taking that control. It seems like they're more so just looking to run down what is likely to be a relatively limited amount of utility, I suppose, for that CT side after the early moments of guns that are being thrown out. And you can understand that. Into the Breach have been very aggressive so far. So they just kind of use that to their advantage and honed the pace down a small bit. Again, though, Nickelback, he's been on this angle a few times, so I do wonder if they're going to expect it. The timing almost working against them, but the spam kind of gives it away. Nickelback is ready now as he takes out two. And while there will be a trade in the end from Adam, it's not going to be as clean as they wanted it. A man advantage for Entropiq to sit on. Really not too much utility for the Thieves to work with. Smokes at least.
Understood. Yeah, they do have at least a little bit of control, but that's a bit of a gap in that one. They might force Krads, or at least tempt him into a little bit of a peek there, because he knows that gap is visible. But he'll be deciding that discretion is the better part of valor on that one. Crad is falling back now toward a cubby position. 4v3, look at Dobbo, there's a gap in that smoke. There are gaps everywhere. And this time, actually, it's into the bridge to take advantage of one. 3v3. They're both pushing up further, and he's just been absolutely on a tear in this map. Goodness gracious me. Another one for him, another headshot to boot as well. Would love to see his headshot percentage. It must be incredibly high, and that's a very, very long spray with the AWP from Forrester. Like, he gets a trade, but it's a 1v2 on 15 points of health, and the bomb's down.
At this point, he maybe would have wanted to have considered the save, but he is looking to push in, hoping for a quick shot, a chance then to play with the one-on-one, but he finds the op of Isk. That was really his best opportunity, to find that op first, to win that one out, and then maybe even resort to the pistol to take out the low-health last player. But unfortunately, Isk is a little bit quicker, and that into the breach again managed to swing things back. It's not all of the rounds being taken together, sure, but they're grinding out an incredibly strong T side right now. And while there is some money there in the bank for the CTs, it will only really fund the one buy. So there's an opportunity. If Into the Breach takes this, 9 rounds pretty much will be confirmed. And, well, that looked like it was going to be the opening kill for Adam. He does do some pretty intense damage on towards Lackey. And because of that, Nickelback has been called in to go ahead and give some assistance. And he has allowed for his teammate to escape, but all it's done is put him in his teammate's shoes. He's now in the exact same place, and he's not going to get away with his life.
Yeah, another kill for Dobbo. This time with the Flames. Can't get a headshot with Flames, but I can assure you that I feel like every single other one of his kills has been a headshot so far. This guy's been nuts. And they have a 5v4, as you say, also with Lackey on low HP. It's almost a 5v3, and now it is a 5v3. Adam punishes a smoke push, I think, there by Forrester on the edge of those CT doors. I gotta say, this is incredibly good from Into the Breach so far. 7-4, looking to make it 8-4, double the score of Entropiq. And we saw at the major, didn't we, toward the end of last year, that this map was starting to become a lot more even, not as CT-sided, I beg your pardon, as it once was. But still, I wouldn't say it's T-sided. Into the Breach making it look that way right now.
Definitely so. I mean, Dobbo especially, he's been fantastic on those entries. Up on 12 kills right now. He had that round where he recovered them back from the 5-on-3 and then took the 2 more kills even after, equaling into a 3-on-3 to go ahead and put them over the finish line. So he's been very impactful. But they've all really had their moments, and that's been reflected by the scoreboard. It's 12 for Dobbo on top, as we said, but then they're all right beside each other. 9 for Adam, 8 for the rest, as they're all just given what they need to give right now. And as we mentioned, it is leading to a pretty damn good T-side. We'll have to see if they keep it up. Weapons at least being saved by Entropiq. It will allow Nickelback very likely to get his own weapon out alongside them if they want to go for the buy, but I don't really think a drop is going to be available, unfortunately, over the Forester, so they're going to be still pretty limited in terms of what they can pull out, and if they do decide to force around what they have here, rather, then they could be putting themselves onto an eco going into that following round, and that could potentially allow already double digits for Into the Breach, so I don't really think they can let that happen.
Absolutely on board with that, but they're going to be on board with this scoreline, that's for sure. Into the Breach, they have confirmed their lead on the half at least. No doubt about that one now. Entropiq back on the buy, as we said, and Lackey isn't on the secondary this time, so it's going to be curious to see if they can make something happen here. Tadpole going super aggressive. Does he hear the aggression again? Nickelback loves this angle. He's got multi-kills from it in the 2 other times he's played it, and it's a good position to be flashed in with as well. Grenade is deep, but Adam's actually aggressed a little bit further than perhaps he's expecting. They can double peek this one, but oh, that's a dink. That's a painful one. It's a great frag from Cypher though. Nickelback will know the damage he's done. Probably will call 2 players are low. Crad spots the arm of Tadpole in the cubby as well, and he digs him down to 2 points of health. How are the players alive? How are they alive? How?
A bit of fortune and wall that functions as Kevlar. It did help them out quite a bit, at least in Tadpole's case right there, as he took a ton of bullets through the edge and manages to just about hang on. But as you said, with all that damage being done with now an aggressive position here from Lackey as well, if he can get this kill, if he can lock down the A side of the map as he's just done, then they should be set up pretty well to deal with these low health players as they start moving into the bomb site. So yeah, despite this being a 4-on-4, it is pretty firmly in the hands of Entropiq. We'll have to see what Into the Breach can find. With only 40 seconds remaining, it's going to be an off as well that Adam steps into initially. Strong molly actually to force it away. It didn't actually land perfectly in position, but he presumed it would either way. He did take the step back, but yeah, this is going to be a problem. The health is just way too low. 1 bullet from Crad will be enough, thankfully, because it took him a while to find it.
It did. 3v4 now. With the players so low, should easily be a frag if a Crad. There we go, he gets it. Forrest has actually got taken down to 1 HP in the meantime there. That's pretty remarkable. So many wallbangs coming through, of course. This site is very, very exposed to those wallbangs to the edge of the white top you can see there. There are 2 you can do from that angle. 1 toward mid, 1 toward the T-doors. And unfortunately, again, a T-sided save is all they are forced to do. 2 guns saved, but it's okay. As he said, we still have the lead on the half. There's the aggression from Lackey getting that first frag. And the Tadpole was always going to go down in the end when he pushes through that smoke. He had to try and do something when you're that low, to be fair to him.
Thankfully not losing anything after the time there either, or would have been a pretty big issue for Into the Breach. 8 rounds though on the T side I think is already decent, but 9 was almost confirmed earlier on, so they'd like to go ahead and at least put 1 more on the board. And again, with the entries we're seeing, it's definitely doable. Cypher goes ahead and pops off the head of Crad, this time without taking any damage as well, and Nickelback is on a all too familiar angle. Will it work out from this time? I mean, it's been pretty dang successful so far, and I don't think it's going to stop. He takes 1. No one else is ready to follow up by how it's done in the previous attempts, and that gives him plenty of time to just drop a smoke and sit now in a 4-on-4. Dubbo, though, I think is trying to take that kind of walk in towards the A bomb site that we've seen a couple times. This time, though, there is 2 Entropiq players in position.
Nickelback, king of that Jaguar position. Very powerful, the angle that he holds, and he's very reliable on the back of that as well. And it's hard to flash that angle off, to be fair. That's why he loves it so much. We are going to be going back toward A, actually, overall here. There's a player up close, boot up, and looks like Elian is going to stick around too. Adam has vision of Donut, but no more than that. 4v4. 35 seconds to go. They're going to have to make a call, and it will be still the A site. But of course, it will be... Oh, that's unfortunate timing. Forrest is on the boost. They actually have no idea where they were being shot from. That's unfortunate. Dobbo, they have to say, oh, no idea, mate. Sorry. Even though it's not a silenced M4 that he's being shot with. So, unfortunately, they'll all get taken down. And Adam might even have to save on the T side once again, because the bomb is on the T, or on the CT's possession, on the A site. And, again... I think I haven't seen this many T-sided saves on Ancient for a while, but they're kind of forced into them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's understandable with only a couple of rounds left. You want to give yourself the best chance within these, and at this stage, you may as well just carry that 1 AK over, because other than that, you're only going to get 1 more out on Dubbo, and then probably a Galil there on towards Cypher, I believe it was as well. So they're going to be pretty limited coming into this final round. But again, I mean, they're still doing a very good job of finding these initial entries. It's just they're not dealing with positions that they should be dealing with as well as they can. They know Nickelback loves that angle. They still let Tadpole go ahead and peek it alone without anyone else ready to follow it up. They've been spamming it time and time again, and it hasn't actually been clear in the position. So clearly it's a little bit off as well. So it's just a very awkward one in general. Oh. But Adam just charges in. They're going to take the pace up a little bit. Unfortunately, his teammate wasn't quite ready to follow. If that Mac 10 was right behind them, it would have been perfect. Instead, Nickelback is given time for a flash to come over from Lackey. And with that, an advantage has been snatched up by Entropiq.
Yeah, that's perfect. Again, flashing on that angle. He's just doing so much work with it. And look at this. They're trying desperately to clear him away, but Nickelback just given quite literally a free kill as Isk jumps around with the Mac 10. Turbo tries to win another duel in mid, but not to be this time. And that is the half done and dusted. It's an even one between Into the Breach and Entropiq. And I have to say, I've been pretty impressed by Into the Breach. They'll be delighted with the half-time break, I have to say, being in the lead. And we have a little bit of a break coming in before we go in. I think we're going to be okay. Welcome back, everyone, to Into the Breach versus Entropiq in the ESL Challenger League. Feels nice saying that. It's nice and fresh. And now we get to see a second half between these two teams. Into the Breach will be delighted with the start they've had so far. And we'll have to see if they can keep it up. And they're on the CT side now. What do Entropiq have to answer?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, they did really start to recover throughout the half, so I feel like it might be Into the Breach that's under a little bit more pressure even. We'll actually see a very quick move in towards A. This is going to be a tough hold. Adam's just being forced to fall back away. He'll hope to hopefully take a head, but if he can't take a kill, then falling back and surviving has got to be the goal, and that won't be allowed. It's going to be Nickelback and Lackey that combine. A very quick open, and the chance for a bomb plant. It is covered off indeed, so Is can't do anything about denying it. And, well, they're even going to go ahead and actually deny one of those players moving in for the retake already. This is Entropiq with a very firm 5-on-3, a massive health advantage as well, and a damn near impossible retake at this stage without a kit in play.
It's not going to happen. Just some kills would be nice. And they are going to get one with Tadpole, and that's some future money to work with. Looking for some more. He'll stick around for that, but Forrester just keeps shoulder picking the angle to perfection, really. Very good. And that is an equalising round. And as you said in the little half-time break when we had a little chat about this game, I think Entropiq are warming up into this and starting to show their class.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, early stages, it seemed like Into the Breach had that kind of surprise factor where there's not a lot to go off of. Entropiq wouldn't have a ton of demos to look at and learn how they play. They'd kind of have to just feel it out as the game's going on, and I think that's definitely what we've started to see. One of the main things, though, definitely is being the shots are now landing for the boys on Entropiq. That was missing for a while in that first half, while Into the Breach definitely have been shown that they can be pretty crisp with that, with those weapons, rather. A 1-for-1 trade early is not too bad here, I've got to say, for Into the Breach, especially if Cypher finds something when the smoke begins to dissipate. We'll actually likely have some contact now in a moment. Indeed, a Mac 10 up close. If he lands on the head, it could be indeed a weapon stolen away, but no, Crad denies him. With that, pretty much confirms the control all outside of B here, and that's actually going to just pull the bomb back over now. They'll move in towards this B bomb site. The question is how quickly, though, because there is a couple of rotations coming in.
There is, and it will be a combination of a scout and 2 MP9s, which is always very scary, as the tags can do so much damage. And Alien might even be 1 tag away from going down, to be fair. They're moving in. Seconds to go. Crad's walking up, and in comes the MP9 spray, but look at that. The timing from that was perfect. They have a couple of players taking the duel toward long, and the Mac 10 pounces while he's mid-spray. Perfect teamwork. In a way that could have adjusted to deal with that one. And now it's probably down to Into the Breach to save here. But unfortunately, Tadpole can't, because he's been sprayed through the smoke by Nickelback, and it looks like the scout was already being hunted by Crad as well. He's 9 HP, and he will get taken down, so that's a little bit of bonus cash for Isk, but he's already being chased.
I mean, we haven't really seen Isk getting a chance to get going on the off at all, because on the T side, obviously, it's just not the most... I mean, you do pull it out, but still, he didn't really get too many chances to actually pull it out, and then it wasn't the most viable with his teammates just kind of charging forward on the rifles anyway, so he never really got a ton of contact. I think the CT side now is where we'll want to see the economy stabilizing so he can get it going, and he's done a really good job of just saving over this AK right now, so that's going to be a rifle for them to work with. Maybe a few pistols behind it as well, you can likely see being pulled out, so a chance maybe for some damage at least to be done. On paper, though, there shouldn't really be too much trouble here for Entropiq. They should be heading up towards double digits. 10 rounds should be theirs. And it's really going to come down to this next gun round, whether we're going to have a fight or not from Into the Breach for the rest of this map.
Yep, absolutely. That mid-control Molotov comes in. And has been, I think that's a bit of discussion in the past, that Molotov. Nickelback will get the first entry on the Mac 10 and build up that cash. Just a point of inquiry, by the way, or a point to make, is that Nickelback is 21 and 12, with Alien only on 6, Lackey only on 8, Forrester only on 9, Crad only on 10, counting up almost one by one. The difference in fragging there is quite remarkable. No one is positive in the game for Entropiq but him.
he was getting a lot of action around Lamp, in fairness. So
Yeah.
they were coming to him a lot. Elian never really got to do much on his op either. It was mostly close quarters combat that we were getting. Maybe here on the T side now we'll see the kills being spread out a little bit more. Did Elian spot that? He did indeed, but unfortunately just didn't really react to it. Ends up getting taken out. It is so far the only kill that's been dished out by the AK. Never mind, 2 more from Isk. A couple of headshots quickly being snapped together. Unfortunately, Dobbo, if he had a weapon right now, this 1-on-2 would be very, very winnable. But it's going to come down to the timing as he creeps in behind the smoke. They've actually started to push in around through the spawn now. He may potentially spot them if he just looks in towards the spawn, but no, he has no idea. And at this point, might even think that they've already gone ahead and moved back over to the A-bomb site. And unfortunately, that is the case. He's going to go on a bit of a marathon over to the other side of the map. He'll realize pretty soon, I think, that he's made the wrong decision. But he might not even realize straight away since he hasn't gone through Donut.
Yeah, that is a bit of a nightmare. Of course, it would have been unlikely, as you say, for him to win this round anyway. But imagine if he just stayed in cave there with the AK and waited for the plant to come in. That would have made it very durable indeed. But yeah, not to be, I'm afraid. He now realises that. I'll have to fall back and save the AK with no defuse kit, of course. And keep that into the next round. Entropiq, that's something you don't actually see too often from them. Obviously, they could have easily just walked A, but they just decided to walk around the entirety of the block. Of course, the quality build of rocks there on the back of the site. They just walk around it together to try and get a safe trade, but in the end, bypass each other, kind of unluckily. And it will be Entropiq to reach double digits first.
Not really what we were expecting either, when it almost seemed a certainty that Into the Breach had a 9th round at one point up against one of those weaker buys as well on the previous half. So probably again kicking themselves that they hadn't got a bit more on their T side, and that they haven't got a little bit more now in general here going on to the opening gun rounds here of their CT side. We'll have to see what can be done. That molly does a ton of damage through the smoke, I believe. A couple of nades in as well. Adam's able to follow up with a small gap in the smoke to go ahead and finish off Nickelback. And well, you mentioned the disparity in the stats right now. He is the man that's leading the charge for Entropiq, so that's a very big kill to claim. I don't love this position, though, for Adam. It could be dangerous once it fades away, but no, he makes it work. 2 more kills for Adam. It will be the A-bomb site in the meantime with a kill coming through from Entropiq, but it's only the 1. Elian's being left alone, and again, he's having a troublesome game so far.
He is. He's been very quiet. And of course, it's even harder to get the T-sided AWP into the action on this map, let alone if you have a bit of a quiet CT side. And of course, I would say probably this is the hardest map, alongside Vertigo perhaps, where you want to get the AWP into the action on the T side. Very difficult to do so. He does get 1, but you need a 1 versus 4 in total to win this one out. The bomb is in the open, but it is collectible. There'll be 2 on his right and 1 on his left. Unfortunately, that's a perfect crossfire. Nothing you can do about that. And Cypher picks from Cave. Very nicely done. And ITB win their first CT round. And they're keeping it close because, of course, Entropiq don't have much money per player right now. Probably on a full eco, honestly. Be lucky he can buy a gun.
4,400. I don't know if it'd be too worthwhile. Yeah, he actually does decide to go for it. They all have. Okay, I mean, it gives them a decent enough shot, I suppose. They have a couple of rifles to work with, a good amount of utility, or at least a decent amount behind it. And it's more so the fact that they know, obviously, Into the Breach are still on the brink of having their own economy destroyed. So they can return to 1 round here. Again, it gives the CTs now a chance, the UK buys, to potentially take this, to get back into it with a lead very likely going in their favour at that point. So you can see the road forward. It's a slow round from Entropiq, kind of similar to, I guess, the approach that we had seen from Into the Breach. They'll move slowly, they'll eventually get going in towards Lamps, but we see a much more passive angle from Tadpole, giving him plenty of room to fall away once needed, and now just reposition alongside Cypher.
It's going to be an interesting round, to be honest. If ITB win this one, then honestly, of course, Entropiq onto a full eco. And honestly, we'll probably put them back into this game. Crad does really good work, actually, to take Cypher, but look at this double hold they had toward Cave. That's remarkable. With 1 up and 1 down, you can never really deal with that one. Finally, they try to swing on it again, but Tadpole's just hitting every headshot, and then Adam gets a double spray down. Both the headshots with the silenced M4. It's 10 each, with Into the Breach having basically a free round coming in here to make it 11. On the CT side as well, are Entropiq about to get themselves into another fight on this map. They've had plenty as of late. Some of you may have watched their FunSpark match, where I think they went to a 1917 decider against Ecstatic on this map. And yeah, that was a truly remarkable one. The for a close game again here. Here comes the rush for Cypher. Oh, it's a lovely spray down for Cypher on the anti-eco. That's 4 kills for him. Looking for an ace. This could be one of the quickest aces of the year so far. Go on, swing on him, mate. You got this. Tries to find Nickelback. Tag down very low. He can't hit the shot. Bless him. They're going to have to take the ace away. Unlucky, mate.
Yeah, just to add on to that, and a little fact we were saying about the match versus Ecstatic, you were correct with the score 19-17, but it's definitely worth noting that that was a very CT-sided game with both teams having 12-3 halves on their CT side, so that's going to be interesting to see. Entropiq's T side was not fantastic in that matchup. Are they going to be able to put it together now? I mean, potentially they really need to get going in this gun round, otherwise it's going to become a bit scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay. That's one way to go down. Cypher catches Crad. That's a pretty unlike Crad to give over his life so quickly like that. And look what Entropiq are going to do off the back of it. 2 toward A immediately, and actually have the bomb in tow, lagging a bit behind. But it will be a full 4-man push. But Adam is doing great work right now, and they don't have a smoke. They don't have a smoke for CT, and that's when the AWP can do so much damage. Isk gets one and even pulls out the CZ to deal with Lackey. It's all down to Nickelback, and Isk deals with the last. We mentioned that him performing would be a win condition, and wow, 17-9, he's looking fantastic.
I think he was only on like 9 at the half time as well, so he stepped it up massively since the swap over. And that's what you need. We said we never really had much op action going on the first half, as Elian never really got his one going either. If this can go ahead and be that extra factor here, give them early openings on the CT side, then Entropiq really are going to struggle to get into this. And I mean, at this point, I am beginning to worry for them a little bit. It looks like this could potentially be into the breach, taking the opening map of the series. Overpass definitely, though, will be a much tougher time, so it's kind of a necessity if they want a shot to actually get a victory overall, as we're looking at just basically the half investment right now. There's some Kevlar to back up pistols, there's a couple of nades there as well to give them some opportunities, but it doesn't really look like it's going too well. An early frag on Ellie and a good bit of damage on Nickelback as well, and you can see into the breach know that they're not up against a lot, so they've just fallen back to take a much more passive stance to keep that distance between them and those pistols.
For sure. This is a very, very good showing from Into the Breach so far. They got Ancient, one of their favourite maps, and Flash Assist right now are working out pretty nicely. Crad is actually going to get baited in there, but only gets 1. That's unfortunate. And it was 13-10. Yeah, I felt that one too. And I mean, what did I say beforehand, right? I said Isk versus Elian is going to be interesting because we know how good Elian is. And right now, Isk is showing himself to be up there and having a fantastic map to start off this series, and could possibly... Oh, yeah, they lined up perfectly, didn't they? Imagine if that was a double headshot with the Deagle. Wow. Would have made it interesting, but still.
Even then, he had a lot of time to get some follow-up shots off as well. Even if he just landed them, would have been nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And actually, at this point, Into the Breach's economy is in a superb situation, but Isk does reveal too much of his head this time, going for an aggressive peek. Of course, ITB can't continue to give Entropiq the same look. They have to keep changing it up. And they are playing against a team as high quality as them, and they might get punished for it. Adam gets 1, but Crad wins the duel toward Tadpole, and Lucky's done with Adam in the meantime. It's all down to Cypher and Dobbo, and they can hear everything. Could have a chance still. Cypher could get 1 kill. How many does he let go? They're always going to let all 3 of them go. Oh my goodness, Cypher. This is an absolute genius play. When does he pull the trigger? There's 1, but that's maybe a little bit too early. The low HP player now will surely not swing toward the back of the site. Now utility can be used to force him away. Fully blind, stuck in the corner. Kraz just creeping up and takes him down. Oh, he had the play, Cypher. What would you have done in that situation?
We may have to discuss it maybe afterwards, but unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. But Dobbo still has a bit of a chance to get this one done. A good nade in on the low health Crad. It actually doesn't do anything at all, as he had made his way forward of the pillar, and well, a double peek just confirms the round for Entropiq. And yeah, that's very unfortunate. I mean, you said a bit too early. I think it may have even been just half a second too late, because obviously seeing the 2 players stopped for a little while, he was waiting to see if I think the 3rd player had been still tucked in close, maybe waiting. I think maybe even a little bit earlier as they were moving through this section where he is now probably could have been the perfect timing, but yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. It happens. You try and play out the situations, they're not all going to go perfectly. Even just getting himself into that position is a pretty big find, I've got to say, and he clearly tried to play it out the correct way, so I'm not going to knock him at all. But it is going to unfortunately leave them in a position now where losing this round could put their economy on the brink. So if they want to keep this control, this has to be a win. And, well, they line up for Crad. That is not a good start.
Oh no, that was absolutely perfect as well. And of course, I mentioned it earlier, how control of that option of the map is so important. And that's why they try to take control of it once again. But this time Crad is way too strong. He's now up to a positive KD, finally joining Nickelback on that positive KD. It's been a rough otherwise for Entropiq in this game. And yeah, I would have loved to see an alternate universe of what Cypher would have done if he perhaps pulled the trigger immediately, or even pulled the trigger even later, letting them all go through toward the site. And there's Elian. First real impact frag we've seen from him so far today, taking down his fellow AWPer in ISK. And that will be 12 for Entropiq. It's going to be a fourth save for Into the Breach. They will have some form of a buy in the next round, though, so don't lose hope just yet, UKCS fans.
Yeah, but if you're not a UKCS fan, you can probably be getting pretty hopeful because their economy, as I said, is on the brink. So they will need to go ahead and ensure that something's found within this round, or at the very least, they keep it very, very close so that the economy of Entropiq would be close to breaking once they get back onto the guns again. We'll see, though. Forrester's on a bit of a hunt. I don't think it's going to really be very fruitful. I don't think he can reach that A-bomb site within time. They're both just tucked in as well. They're not going to be looking to give those weapons away, and well, Dobbo is easily going to be able to drop over to Cypher. Isk, well, maybe the other way around. Maybe Isk gives the gun to Cypher and takes an op off of Dobbo just to give himself a few more nades behind that op. Hadpol should be able to get everything he wants as well. A double op setup, potentially. That's something we haven't seen being brought out by them yet. Normally, a 12-12 scoreline like this with your opponent starting to build up some... Oh, sorry, 13-12 scoreline like this with your opponent starting to build back into the game a little bit. This might be when you switch it up.
Yeah. There's that replay of Krad's double kill, by the way, and I think that perfect nade as well onto their position kind of bamboozled them a little bit. It was almost like to say, how have you predicted that we're pushing this? How is that nade so perfect? And then Krad just swung with that gap in the smoke and took both kills. 13-12. Dobbo already tagged down to 58. Forrester looking to maybe take a duel straight up toward the A site here. And they're choosing the right time to do this because there's actually no one defending the site itself, but that's a really good find from Adam. Takes Lucky out. 5v4. There's Dobbo coming in from Donut. Easily deals with Forrester. And suddenly, ITB are back in the ascendancy.
Yeah, really strong position. They don't have lots of utility, so they will need to be kind of careful. It'll probably come down to these ops, hopefully catching another kill or two once the push starts to come in, but it is definitely a more secure position than we've seen within any of these CT rounds in quite a while. Up battle from Ellie, and it could still be one. Indeed, peeks in towards Dobbo. Cypher this time will be cleared on the position. They are not going to overlook it for a second time. And Krad also punishes the aggression from Tadpole. This is getting very dangerous. This is going to have to go huge, and he's not able to go. He's not able to do it. Rather, it almost looked like he had the landing on the jump in Ellie, and instead Adam is going to be left alone. 1 versus 2 after a 5-on-3 had been in play for Into the Breach. Now he's got to save the day to stop it from being tied up, and well, we'll see what can be done. He's on a pretty quick flanker, so maybe he catches one player off guard. But they've made the correct decision to move into the back lines and just take a strong position to go ahead and play off it. It's bomb now, and while the op posted up already has the headshot landed. 13-13 for some, maybe an unlucky number, but Entropiq are feeling pretty good about themselves right now.
That is a great recovery, of course. That was a 3v5. Look at that, and it starts off with Elian's pick toward mid as well. That is the star quality that we see from these players. As you say, I really thought Isk had their second kill. Look at the slow motion we're going to get for you in this one. Or the jump across. That teamwork, whether that was perfectly intentional or not, that was just the main factor that threw Isk off. And honestly, it couldn't have worked out any better in the end. 13-all with the ITB on a half buy with an M4 and Deagle. A couple of Deagles actually. A CZ as well. Dobbo trying to save everything he can for a future AWP. And of course, that's the price of the Silence M4 now these days. You can sometimes, on a half-buy, get it with some armor and use it in a half-buy round. Could give them something. He's been great this game so far as Adam, 22 and 17.
They're alongside Nickelback on the other side, who's got 23, but he slowed down quite a bit because I do recall he was on 22 when everyone else was on, like, half of that, about. No one else was positive at the time anyway. Brad's definitely taken it up a little bit of a notch, and that's been what's really kept them in it with Nickelback slowing down.
For sure. A little bit of a stack here, to be fair. If they walk into these pistols, it could be slightly dangerous. And Nickelback, that's a huge shadow advantage, that angle. That's actually one of the biggest shadow advantages in Counter-Strike right now, pushing that angle, and he'll get punished for it. But of course, he didn't know it was taken. They're going to recover the situation fine anyway. No issues at all. Great flag from Adam, but he actually does get a second. All right, 1v2. Bomb's not planted yet. It's actually in the open. Flash is absolutely superb, but amazingly, Lucky doesn't swing off the back of that. That would have been a free kill if you knew anything about it. And Adam's creeping around the smoke. They have no idea. Elliot's sitting in the open. Adam has a chance at a clutch here. They're stuck in the smoke next to each other right now as well. They're bypassing each other. This is remarkable. But Lackey realizes the situation and just about recovers it. Wow. Entropiq, that's a heartbreaker, I'm afraid, for Into the Breach.
So close. They even had a nice little friendly hug for a moment once they brought it down to the 1v1. It's like in the UFC when they go up and, you know, touch knuckles. Very similar. But it does end up going Lackey's way, and it just seems like Into the Breach can't manage to pull any of these clutches off right now. It's the experience of Entropiq that's coming out clutch in the end, and well, that's what you need for these victories. As we said, Ancient here really is a must-win. Don't really fancy the chances coming up afterwards on Overpass for Into the Breach. It's a map that they've played a couple of, so they're not completely unfamiliar with it, but statistically it's so strong for Entropiq that you really don't love the chances of Into the Breach, and they've actually lost both of the matches that they've played on Overpass as well. Just having a look here. It is unfortunate they've kind of slowed down here on Ancient. Exactly what Entropiq are doing as well, actually, coming into this gun round. Letting rather the pressure, I suppose, get to Into the Breach. And Krad just didn't expect that from Cypher. Like a madman just swings out of lamps.
That was a bit of a wild swing, but it works out. And that might be what they have to do to keep catching Entropiq off guard. The unknown factor, of course, Entropiq, they would have never played these teams before, never played each other before, I should say. And that's maybe the unknown factor that's keeping Entropiq guessing. Adam not revealing himself toward Donut. A couple of players in mid, of course. Million. And we'll rotate around. We'll drop the bomb for a teammate as they rotate back toward the B site. There's one player here right now. That is Cypher. He's actually, I tell a lie, there's two players here. There's a boost. The minimap is deceiving. He's on top of Tadpole. And then with Isk rotating in, they could have made the right call here. 30 seconds to go. This boost could be superb. Forrester might get caught out by this. He's going to look for the angle, and the flash will be good. But he spots the gun barrel. Oh no, the flash is superb, and the gun barrel is going to ruin Into the Breach's day. The cleanup is perfect from Entropiq. It's going to be 15-13. Adam and Dolo will 100% be saving, and actually, Entropiq have the money to hunt them.
I mean, they've not got tons on a couple of the players, but still, it's enough for them to go ahead and take these weapons away, knowing what it will do to Into the Breach going into potentially the final round here of the map. So, more than worthwhile. Will they find the weapons? That's a whole other question, because actually it's not going to begin towards A. Instead, it's back towards the spawn, and while Lackey is beginning to move in this direction, you might have the pinch as well of Elian, I believe, moves in through mid. To see exactly where he heads. I think they seem to think it's likely more so towards that A bomb site, so Lackey's the one with the chance to go ahead and take the weapon away, but he doesn't expect Adam, and well, he's not going to get himself that AK unless he wants to risk taking the fight against Forrester, and he does. Okay, a little bit of an upgrade, some further damage being done. I mean, you've got to find some silver linings at this point, but now they need 2 rounds in a row, and they have to do it off the back of what is going to be a pretty weak buy.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation to be in. They've been so impressive, and as I said, it's a little bit of a heartbreaker the way this game is ending so far. 15-13 Entropiq have pretty much everything they could want to close this game out and close this first map out, of course, as well. And they will know that they speak up beforehand about how map 2 is heavily favoured in their favour, even more than this one. And look at this play. Oh my goodness. Full W through the smoke. That's unexpected. Krad. Okay. That is a... Okay. It's a kill from the grave with a Molotov. That is slightly unfortunate. And Nickelback, I'm afraid, is going to make this one even harder. That is 4v2 now to end off this first map. Adam peeking aggressively. I think he spots Forrester, but Alien then holds the angle. Oh, that is just perfect. Isk, I'm afraid, is in a 1v3 with 19 points of health. It's not going to happen unless something insane happens, like all 3 Entropiq players disconnect. That might be the only way. And it will get taken down. It will be the first map for Entropiq. What about that? That was a great comeback from them in the end.
Yeah, it's such a good start as well, though, from Into the Breach. They were stuck around 8 or so for quite a while after having a fantastic B-side initially. And it just seemed like Entropiq did kind of warm up themselves, and they also got more of a feel for how